All right, everyone, we'd like to welcome you to the presentation on the early colleges. We appreciate your attendance, and so I'm going to go ahead and let Ms. Tennille Sherrill begin and let you know about the early colleges.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. We are going to get started. We have a lot of information to cover in a short amount of time. And we also have in the chat or the Q&A feature, if you have any questions, you are welcome to enter those in either the chat or the Q&A. And Sharon is serving as our host moderator tonight, and she will be taking care of that. And when we get to about 20 minutes into the 25 minutes, we should be pretty much finished with the presentation, and she's going to let us know if we get to that point. And then if there are any questions in the chat or the Q&A, we will be ready to answer those. So at this point, I'm going to share my screen, and that way we can begin the presentation. Okay. So we are excited that you at least have an interest in the early college experience. My name is Tennille Sherrill, and I am the counselor at the Agriculture and Science Early College. But we have teams who typically go out to the middle schools and visit and do this exact same presentation to the middle schoolers so that they know a little more about the actual early college experience itself. And we talk about the early colleges in general, as well as all three individually, so that students have an idea whether they may have a preference of one over the other. Here we go. Okay, so there are three early colleges in the Iredell-Statesville district. The first to open is CCTL, the Collaborative College of Technology and Leadership, located on campus at Mitchell Community College in downtown Statesville. It was actually the first early college to open in the district. The second, Crossroads Arts and Science Early College. They are actually located on the main campus of the traditional high school, Statesville High School, but totally and completely separate school. The third to open in the district is ASEC, or the Agriculture and Science Early College, and it is located on the traditional North Iredell High School campus. Again, totally separate schools. Basically, we like to tell the students, if you go to Crossroads or you go to ASEC, you are not a Statesville or a North Iredell student. You are an early college student. All we do on those campuses is just borrow space. So you may be wondering why early college is a benefit to your family. And I don't know if any of you have students in college now or happen to be in college yourself, you might know the cost of college is quite, can be quite expensive, and it continues to go up each year. With the cost of college, a community college, you can attend one of the 58 community colleges in the state of North Carolina for between $3,500 to $4,500 per year. The 16 schools in the University of North Carolina system, which include all of your UNC cities like UNC Asheville, UNC Chapel Hill, as well as schools like East Carolina, Western Carolina, Appalachian, all of those are part of the public university system in the state of North Carolina. There are 16 of those schools, and those cost anywhere from $13,000 to $25,000 per year on average. There are also private and independent colleges in the state of North Carolina, and those range anywhere in cost from $25,000 to $79,000 per year. And at this point, we always like to ask the middle schoolers, which private school do you think costs $79,000 per year? And typically they guess Duke, and they're right. So the cost of college can really get expensive. We always say that your education is definitely an investment that we promote and that we think is well worth that. But with an early college program, there's a way for you to earn a 2-year college degree. So the equivalent of if you went to a community college and paid for it yourself, between $7,000 and $9,000 per year, you can get that same associate's degree in our district from Mitchell Community College through the early college program. So what happens is students start in the 9th grade. And if they were a traditional high school student, they would start in the 9th grade and they would go for 4 years and graduate. And then if they decided to go to a community college at that point, such as Mitchell or Central Piedmont or Catawba Valley or Wilkes Community College, they would go for 2 years beyond high school to earn their associates. So a total of 6 years worth of education. How this works with an early college is that students start in the 9th grade and they are only in the program for 5 years instead of 6. But at the end of year 5, students earn their high school diploma and an associate's degree that would take a traditional high school student 6 years. So they're actually finishing a high school diploma as well as an associate's degree in 5 years, which is a year sooner than their traditional counterparts. The best part to families for all of this is the fact that you earn your associate's degree or 2 years of college credit for free. There is no cost to the family for that. You don't have to pay for your books. It is cost free to the students. So you are earning an associate's degree from a community college that if you paid for on your own would cost between $7,000 and $9,000, and you are earning that at no cost to the student or family. And at that point, you are ready to transfer to a 4-year college or university if that is your goal, and basically have 2 years of credit under your belt so that your overall cost of college is way more cost affordable. An early college does have a demanding curriculum. All of the high school courses are taught at an honors level, and they're actually somewhat accelerated, meaning that when you're in high school, the state of North Carolina for graduation requirements require that you have 4 English, 4 math, 4 history, and 3 science credits to graduate. We take that high school math and English and we accelerate that. So in their first year, they take the first 2 high school Englishes and the first 2 high school maths. In the second year of the program, they take the 3rd and 4th high school Englishes and the 3rd and 4th high school maths. So by the end of 10th grade, they're actually finished with all high school English and math, and they're ready for those college English and math courses by their junior or 3rd year. We do have them start in 9th grade taking their first college course. That is a course called ACA 111, which is like a college student success course. They take that typically in their first semester of their 9th grade year, just to get them acclimated to having a college course and to see how that is. We do accelerate the program with the high school courses all the way around, not just the math and English of sorts. And so by the junior year, typically students have multiple college courses, and by either the second semester of junior year, mostly the first semester of their 4th or senior year, the students are taking mostly full-time college classes. We do call that year 5, that 13th year, we call that the super senior year, in case you're wondering how that works. We do have a lot of project-based learning in the high school classes. One of the things that our students have a tendency to really enjoy about the early college program is that we do have smaller classes and a much smaller student body. Our early colleges accept anywhere from 55 to 70 incoming 9th graders. So it does make our overall class size and student body size significantly smaller than a traditional high school. One thing we like to tell the students as well, ideal students for an early college program, ideal candidates, don't necessarily have to have straight A's. What they do need to have is a strong work ethic. Part of the application is a rubric process, and we look at all kinds of things, including test scores, grades, attendance, discipline, but we also look at teacher recommendations, counselor recommendations, which we'll talk about in just a second. But we are looking for students who really have the desire to obtain their associate's degree along with their diploma in a shorter amount of time, and who really truly have a work ethic to be able to do so. We are the same in a lot of ways, and so we like to talk to you about how that works. Transportation, we do have early college shuttle buses that run all over the county. So those are available to all early college students at all 3. We are on a little bit of an earlier collegiate calendar because our students do take the college classes, so we need to be starting earlier. We usually begin in early August and end in mid to late May. We are on a block schedule, meaning that we are on a semester-long schedule. The students take fall or first semester classes from August to December. Then they take final exams. Those courses are over, and they start second or spring semester courses in January, and those run through May. We have absolutely normal school day hours, just like all traditional high schools. We do offer lunch for different programs, with ASEC being on campus at North and Crossroads being on campus at Statesville. We do utilize the cafeterias in those traditional high schools, but with a completely separate lunch block. Most of our students will pursue the Associate in Science, Associate in Arts, Associate in Engineering, and Associate in Fine Arts, those traditional transfer degrees through Mitchell Community College. But there are also a lot, if you've not looked at a Mitchell Community College catalog lately, there are a lot of Associate in Applied Science degrees, as well as the transfer associate's degrees that our students pursue. But any program that is an option at Mitchell Community College is an option for all early college students. Our dress code, and these are things definitely that the students always want to know. Do we have to wear uniforms? Do we have to wear anything crazy? And we just have a traditional dress code. A lot of students also want to know about activities. Can we do things like traditional high school students do? We do have an early college prom, and it is a combination. So all 3 early colleges participate in that prom each year. There are lots of clubs, not only the high school, the early college high school clubs that are available. Our students are Mitchell Community College students and considered that from day one, which means that they also have access to all of the clubs that Mitchell offers. There are all kinds of after school activities, extracurricular activities, and clubs that the students have access to. So it is very, very, very similar to a traditional high school experience. Different than AP and IB simply because in AP courses or IB courses, typically those are courses where students take high school coursework, and at the end, they take a big exam. And the only way that they earn college credit for that is if they score high enough on the exam. With an early college, your students are actually taking real, true Mitchell Community College classes taught by Mitchell professors. And as long as they make at least a C or better in those courses, they do transfer. Another really cool part of early college student and their experience, if they finish the associate transfer degree and they have made at least a C or better in every course, we have what's called guaranteed acceptance. And that is where the students are guaranteed acceptance to at least one of the 16 public universities in the system. And so which school they get accepted to will depend on how good their transcript looks and how hard they've worked, because some schools are way more competitive to get in. But just the fact that they have guaranteed acceptance to at least one school is a great benefit to early college students. CCTL, again, is located on the Mitchell Community College main campus in downtown Statesville. If students want to play sports, they may do that. They just return to their districted high school to play those sports. Students also at CCTL can participate in marching band and JROTC teams. They do that after school at Statesville High. If they want to play sports, to get back and forth to games and practices, that the transportation for that is at the student's responsibility. And the one thing that makes CCTL a little different in that 9th grade year is that the students take a combination of Adobe Digital Media courses. After 9th grade, if they don't want to take any more digital media courses, that's fine, but those are the elective courses for CCTL freshmen. Crossroads is located on campus at Statesville High School on that 3rd floor, and the students attend their college classes by taking a shuttle bus back and forth from Crossroads to Mitchell's campus. If students want to participate in sports, cheerleading, band, JROTC, band dancer, they do all of that with Statesville High School. And because they're already on that campus, if they want to play sports, that bus transportation is provided for students. Crossroads electives, the freshman year, the difference with Crossroads, freshman year, they either can select a fine arts area to take their electives in, or JROTC. They can also choose between a couple of CTE courses, Honors Career Management, Honors Principles of Business, and Honors Anatomy and Physiology. ASEC is located in the I building, which is where the new gym is on the North Iredell High School campus. The Mitchell professors actually come to ASEC's campus. Mitchell has a north satellite location on campus, and so those professors come to ASEC to teach the college courses. Students who want to participate in sports, cheerleading, band, ROTC, and agriculture classes do that at North, and students can take those ag classes as electives during the freshman year, but they're not required to take ag classes or pursue the agriculture degree. Mitchell Community College, downtown Statesville students do have access to all of the clubs. They are considered a Mitchell Community College student as well as a early college high school student from day one. And there are lots of opportunities the students have available to them through the tutoring, the Mind Center, the Writing Center, all kinds of tutoring and help for the college courses as well. Few more things before we get to questions. The application will be available online. It will go live on December 1st and must be completed by January 12th, somewhere around January 12th to January 15th. It will be online, and that information, I have linked a handout in the chat part. So if you want to get a copy of that handout or just save that on your computer, it does have the information as well as the dates. It tells you everything that you need for the application, including the recommendations. There is one site that you go to, and once you start the application, you can choose whether you want to apply to 1, 2, or all 3 of the early colleges. Unless you just have your heart set on one specific early college, we encourage students to apply to all 3, because then they can be considered through the rubric process for all 3 if they just know they really want to go to an early college. You do have to have recommendations from the math and ELA teachers as well as the school counselor, and those are the 8th grade, the current math and ELA teachers and school counselor. Those are also submitted online. We will start calling and letting people know about their acceptance mid-February into early March. And when we call, we try to let you know if you have been accepted to 1, 2, or all 3 based on how many you have applied to. We do ask that students let us know within 24 hours which seat they are planning to accept so that we know how many seats are left at the other early colleges. We do have some open houses coming up, Zoom style. The dates for those are also in that handout that's located in the chat. Coming up a couple of different dates in December. So please make sure if you have your phones and you want to take a picture of that screen, you're welcome to do so, or get that handout in the chat. Also in that handout, we do have the contact information for the counselors as well as each of the principals at each of the 3 early colleges. So at this time, I know that is a lot of information in a short amount of time, but if we have any questions, I'll be glad to answer those. And I will stop screen share and we'll see if we have any questions.
And folks, right now we have you where it just automatically muted anyone as they joined. So like Tennille said, we have the chat feature. We also have the Q&A. So you can click on either of those. If you don't currently see them, then if you just drag your cursor down to the bottom of your screen, then those tools will pop up, and then you can type directly into a chat or into the Q&A.
Okay.
So Tennille, there is a question.
Okay.
Other than AP and early college, are there any other options for earning college credit in the district?
Yes, there are. Traditional high school students have the option to do what are called CCP or Career and College Promise courses through the traditional high schools. Those are set up typically either through the CTE or the CDC, the Career Development Coordinator, or the Guidance Department. So those are an option to earn college credit beginning depending on the student's GPA. That can start earlier. Most students typically do the CCP courses junior or senior year. Those courses themselves are not a cost, but with CCP courses, the students do have to pay for the textbook. Typically, students can earn, I mean, if they take multiple CCP courses each year, they can earn somewhere between 24 and 30 credits, which, you know, a full associate's degree is right at 60 credits for the most part, 60 credit hours. And so, you know, students taking CCP can earn anywhere from, you know, 6 credit hours to 12. If they really take a lot of courses, sometimes there are students that earn 24 to 30. So there definitely are, I feel like sometimes there are so many choices, it almost gets overwhelming for parents sometimes. So, but definitely there are lots of options. Early college is just a way that they can actually earn a full associate's degree. And another perk for not only the guaranteed acceptance, but for early college students, once they finish and they have a 60-hour associate degree, then when they get ready to transfer to a 4-year college or university, they actually get to apply as first-year students to take advantage of all of the housing and scholarship opportunities. Then if they would happen to not get accepted as a first year, then they can turn around and be considered as a transfer. So early college students kind of get the best of both worlds when it comes to applying for 4-year colleges and universities, which is nice.
And I think so far that's all of our questions. You did have a very kind compliment, Miss Cheryl, from one of the parents of one of your students, who just said thank you for all that you do.
Oh, yes. And we absolutely love her too. Yes. That is one thing with an early college, when you have such a small student body, you know, you have the opportunity to really get to know the students well. And sometimes as the counselor at the early college, students will say, I feel like you almost know too much about me, but you know, it's a nice thing to be able to have those, build that rapport and those relationships and have the students feel connected to the school. We're ready to get everybody back.
We've got another question. It's clarification. It says, you mentioned IB earlier. I didn't realize it could count toward college. Is it like AP?
With the IB program, you know, a lot of the IB students do take AP courses, and provided that you, there's actually a crosswalk that's out there that if you wanted to Google and look at, you know, I mean, you could even Google a question such as like, what AP scores are accepted at, you know, UNC Charlotte, if that's something that your student was interested in. You can find out. I've looked at the crosswalks, and for the most part, most schools require either a 4 or a 5, 5 being the highest you can score on an AP exam. They do require a 4 or a 5 in order to earn college credit. There are a few courses, like I know there's a few courses at NC State where if you take a specific history course and you make a 4 or a 5, you earn 6 credit hours in history. But if you make a 3, you only earn 3 credit hours. So, you know, it just depends. There are some schools that are accepting some 3s now, but most of the time it's 4 or 5. You know, and so IB courses are not exactly the same, but that's how the AP courses work that IB students are taking, if that makes sense.
Neil, then we had a question. Do most students who transfer to a 4-year college after participating in the early college experience, do they tend to take 4 years of classes?
I mean, one of the really other cool things, there's a lot of cool things, y'all. We could talk about this for an hour, but another really cool thing is that each of the early colleges have a full-time college liaison on staff. It's a Mitchell employee who works individually with the 3 early colleges. And they customize that student's associate's plan from basically day one. They start having advising appointments from freshman year, and they customize that plan so that if that student knows, okay, I want to go into this field or I want to go to this school, those liaisons look at exactly what that school is wanting the student to have as part of their associate's degree. So if, you know, if NC State wants an extra English course where Chapel Hill wants an extra science course, their associate's programs are actually customized so that when they get ready to transfer, you know, they really go in with the first 60 hours of a 120-hour bachelor's degree done. So really, if they continue going full time, I mean, they can have that completed in 2 more years. And that's really the goal.
And one last question. If your child is in early college and you move to a neighboring district during the year, is the student allowed to stay at the early college school?
It kind of depends. The 3 early colleges in the Iredell-Statesville district are open to all students in Iredell-Statesville as well as Mooresville graded. If you are moving outside of Iredell-Statesville or Mooresville graded, that would actually be a really good question for Joy Doherty, who is a district employee, and she is the one who works with all out-of-district transfer. So that would definitely be something that she could probably answer your question about that. I do see in the Q&A box, do you only admit incoming freshmen? And that is a great question. Typically, our biggest number of students that do come in are incoming freshmen. However, we do typically, all of the early colleges, we do typically have a handful of spots open for rising sophomores and occasionally even a few rising juniors, depending on what they've taken in a traditional high school. At the end of 9th grade, some of our students decide that early college is just not the right fit for them. And it's definitely not the perfect program for every student, and every student is not perfect for early college. So we like to, if we have students that leave at the end of 9th grade to go back to traditional high school, we like to look and see if we have any seats available for rising sophomores. So we do accept applications on that same online application in that same time frame, December 1st to January 15th, from rising 10th and 11th graders as well. So if you are in that category, please make sure you fill out your application. And when it asks for the recommendations, that would be your ELA and math teacher that you had in 9th grade. Absolutely. Okay, students with IEPs, 504s, I mean, we absolutely definitely do. I mean, we look at, how we can best help that student and see what that looks like. And we absolutely do accept students that have IEPs, 504s. There's actually a place on the application. There's a question that says, does your child receive any of the following services? And it lists IEP, 504, AIG, ESL. We have some students that English is their second language. So we try to customize a plan for all students. How will the open house Zoom links be sent out? That is a great question. I actually just found out today that we are doing open house Zooms. I guess I should have assumed that based on the situation we're in, but I do not know exactly how those will be sent out. My guess is that we will try to send out information to the middle schools so that can be publicized by the middle schools. We will also publicize that information on the early college websites through the Iredell-Statesville district. We will also put that on, because I know we try to put all of the information on not only our individual 3 early college websites, but also on our Facebook pages as well. So we will try to disseminate that information as wide as we can to make sure that anyone who wants to participate in that can. So if you have those dates, if you if it gets close to that and you have not seen a Zoom link anywhere, which I would be surprised if that ends up being the case, but if you've not seen the Zoom link, you are welcome to contact us. You can email me and say, hey, I really want to come to your open house, but how do I do that? And coming to visit students, we have not really been given clearance yet on coming to do school visits, just because of the situation that we're in and there being room limit capacities. So we do not have any sort of plan yet from the district and or the state on when we'll be able to do that. We would love to be able to do that. And if we could, before the application closes in January, that would be great. However, right now we just do not have guidance on that. And so we want you to have the Zoom open house opportunities like we would normally have a regular open house and during our visits. So definitely be sure and do that Zoom. And if we can come visit you guys or have y'all here, we will do that as quickly as we can.
And Tennille, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe in the past, a lot of times the ISS text or email or Connect Ed has gone out to say that early college applications are open, or is it an all staff email? So I think the students get an email, and maybe also parents. And then I think if you receive the district texts, they share that information there, and also on all the social media for our school district.
That is very true. And open house letters, I don't know if I understand that question. We send open house letters to me, or should I make copies? Oh, like the handouts? I think that might be, yes. Okay.
Miss Mayberry.
Yes. And so I can definitely share. I mean, if you want some copies of the handout, I can put that in the courier to you. I'll make myself a note. And honestly, I'm not so sure that we shouldn't do that for every middle school. So I will make myself a note to courier handouts to middle schools, and then I'll talk to the other early college. Oh, great. I'm glad she said her kids are already asking. That's wonderful. So maybe what we can do is the 3 early colleges can get together and split that up so that, like, we can each take a couple of middle schools and just courier you some copies. And then, we can send, say 25, 30, 40 copies or whatever. And then if you need more copies of that, you're welcome to. And if they're already asking, Shared has linked that handout in the chat box. Right up there, that link, that drive.google.com. So you're welcome to go ahead and pull that up now and print that front and back. And then that way, if you've already got people asking you, you can have that until we get those to you. Perfect.
And I also included in the chat the link to the web page where once the application does go live, because as Ms. Cheryl explained, it's not yet live, you would be able to also share that website with your students and their families. So thank you for joining us tonight, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you or your student in one of our early colleges.
Yes, sounds great. Have a great night. Thank you for joining.
Thank you.